Hello everyone, Rare Model Reviews here, and today we have the Master Grade 1 to 100 scale Guntank. Now this has been a kit I've had for quite some time now, and you guys may have seen it here and there in some of my reviews, whether I did a size comparison whether or not. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I think it just kind of had in the background. But regardless, this kit I have a bit of a love and hate relationship with. The love aspect comes, of course, from the fact that this was one of the three starring suits. I'm not sure if you call it a Guntank a mobile suit or not, but it accompanied the Gundam and Guncannon, so naturally it has that icon status there. However, besides the fact that it's kind of always been a bit of the, I guess you say the ugly duckling of the group, this particular kit had a strange journey when it first was previewed. Like I said, more than 10 years ago, or should I say, what was that, decade? It was really supposed to be an RC. It was supposed to be like a model kit that you built and, be remote controlled, but Bandai ended up scrapping that and they made just pretty much a, I guess you say, generic model kit. But I'm going to go ahead and get into, I guess you call one of my issues with the kit right now, and that is the construction. Bandai did what I really hate they do with a lot of kits, and that is a strange construction from parts of the kit that were very poorly thought out, in my opinion, when it comes to the construction and things just fitting with friction. Those are a recipe for disaster, in my opinion, when it comes to building kits. And either it results in something breaking or just, again, something overall being not as reliable or fragile. So that said piece would be the caterpillar treads here. It has kind of that similar trend you have with a lot of the Xeon kits, where you have to individually, in time and painstakingly, put each individual tread here together, and you kind of snap it on with these teeny tiny little pegs. And I broke a lot of them, probably more than a half dozen of them, if not a dozen. So I finally got around to super gluing these things together last night, and I wanted to hurry up and get this review done. Besides the fact that, again, I've been kind of slacking last month with my reviews. I just overall wanted to just review this thing already because I've been sitting here staring at it for so long. I just really wanted to review out. So this thing, first and foremost, pretty much has no accessories. In fact, I'm not even sure if this thing is compatible with an action base. And I mean, just look at it, I don't know how it possibly could be. But we're just gonna really go into accessories. Articulation, that's really all you can do with this thing. So I guess we'll go from the top down as usual. You have the cannons here. They both, of course, are individually articulated up and down. They have a little bit of spring action there, if you notice. Okay, get this to focus a little bit, maybe. If you kind of look at it, it has a bit of a, like, they push in and out a little bit. I'm not sure why. I guess that, again, has something to do with the whole RC thing. There are a few remnants of that. So that's the only reason I could think of why that'd be spring loaded. I might as well take it out. The head here, the little cockpit hatch here opens up. If I can get it to open. There we go. And if you look in there, hold on, focus. You can do it. Focus. Come on. There we go. Yeah. So if you look there, wow, I just got this thing super blurry now. Whatever. But you see a little pilot figure in there, and it's also like this little inner frame type thing there too. I'm not sure what that's for, but it's still a cool detail. So I painted the figure there yellow. It came out in just gray, if I'm not mistaken. And this actually was a clear piece, but I colored it blue because that's usually what the Guntank's head looked like. And this thing also has like a little, this is a little battery spot here, whatever, for an LED. I can't remember if this thing light up a certain color or not. Because again, I had this thing for more than a decade, so this thing is beyond dead. I don't think I have any batteries left for this thing. If I do, they're like fried. So basically, you would of course switch this on and put it back in. Again, I'm pretty sure it'll light up the head, and you can see like a little open spot there where, I mean, honestly, You're supposed to have the core fighter, so you probably wouldn't be able to see as much in there, but I'll get to the core fighter later. But going on with head articulation, as you can see, it can wiggle side to side, up and down. And it also has these little pieces here. Hold on. Good thing I prepared this time. I got my tweezers. But you can move these pieces up. And I get the other one out too. There we go. Jeez, why was that giving me so much trouble? You can kind of have the cannon setting here on this little piece. I'm guessing this is going to be kind of like the control the recoil. I don't know what I did to this thing. Why it got super blurry when I was trying to focus it, but I'm trying to see if I can fix it. I guess that's not going to happen. Anyway, whatever. So next we have these pieces here in the chest. You can actually, I mean, I probably don't even need these to open them up, but if you can see that there, they open up there. Try to do it the tweezers so you guys can see it open up. There you go. So those reveal, I'm guessing those like for the exhaust vent there, so you can vent out the exhaust. And then next we also have the cockpit. Opens up a little awkwardly, but as you can see, the cockpit hatch opens up. And again, there would be the core fighter in here, but I took that out, and I'll get into why I did that later. But next we have the arm pieces here. I don't know why, but this little piece of the arm here kind of flaps and rattles. There's not really any good reason to that. It actually kind of messes up with the rotation of the arm, which is very stiff, I might mention, to the point that I'm afraid to move this thing half the time. It feels like it's gonna break. But so as you can see, it goes 360. Move up to about here. I guess if you were to, again, move the arm around, you could kind of simulate more movement with this thing. And again, I think moving this thing, like, it really makes this thing tight, and it's like, it's already super stiff. I feel like I'm gonna break this thing. But arm articulation there, as you can see, it has like, it's kind of this weird double jointed thing. But as you can see, the articulation of this thing is terrible. That's like not even 90 degrees. Also has this, again, this is, again, one of the remnants to the fact I'm pretty sure this is an RC thing. And I hope this didn't just break. But whatever. Yeah, I can move this closer. It's like you move this part of the arm or something like that. I think it's this part of the arm. But maybe you're supposed to twist it. But if you guys can make that out, it's like, it's supposed to kind of look like these barrels are moving. I don't know if you guys seen that or not when I'm doing this. Again, this thing's been so old, it's so tight. I don't really want to fiddle with it too much, but you kind of get the gist there. That's all it for arm articulation. Oh, waist articulation, wiggle side to side a little bit. I mean, again, this is the Guntank. It's a little tank. You're not gonna really expect it to do much, but this has a few neat little gimmicks. I'm gonna lift it up to show it. So you have this little area here. This kind of goes down. I guess, again, I'm pretty sure it's to kind of lock it down into place so that when it fires, you know, it's not moving and all that. Yeah, this little extra piece here. It reveals some more vents, I'm guessing this is. And I think this might be so. Like the Gundam can kind of ride on the back of it. So if you guys remember from the show, I think it was the second episode, Armor was taking this into the white base. He kind of was pushing it on his shoulders. So I think this might kind of react that scene. Otherwise, again, it's to kind of mount this thing down so when it's fire, you know, it's in place. And I'm sure you guys caught, here's what I meant with the caterpillar threads here. These things are brittle, and as a result, some of these broke, so they don't lock in like they should. And this one kind of came off, so that's why it's kind of dangling there. This little piece here in the hip moves a little bit. I'm not sure if it's supposed to, but a lot of these pieces you can kind of take off to reveal some of the inner frame, but I don't really like showing off the inner frame in the reviews. I don't really feel like it's much of a reason to half the time anyway. Like, I think it's pretty safe to say once people build a kit, they kind of leave it like that. So speaking of leaving it like that, this back piece is kind of, I wonder if it's for me gluing it in. Some of the glue gets stuck on it. Whatever though. So as you see, these This leg piece here can kind of move out. And if you look in there, you can actually kind of see like these hydraulics and stuff there. I really wish this thing, I don't know what I did try to get this thing to focus. I feel like it did make this thing blurry. It's not focusing, but anyway. So it has like a little bit of movement in there. Of course, the other side can do it too. This piece here can also kind of swivel and move out. Actually, yeah, I remember that. There's some sort of switch here. Ah, okay. Yeah, this is to move this up and down. That's interesting. Not sure what's the point of that, but as you can see, it can do it. So, I mean, that's kind of really it. I don't think there's any more articulation to this thing here. You guys couldn't make it out because I kind of have it so far back, but this piece of caterpillar came off when I'm trying to put it on. This is what I meant by these things. The construction is, caterpillars are so freaking wonky. And now this one's falling apart too. I knew this would happen too, but thankfully this is basically kind of over. So next we have the core fighter here. Trying to, nice to show my frustration with this thing, but it has a little clear stand on the bottom here. I actually meant to paint the wheels black, some of this landing gear here, and I was going to leave the rest of it kind of clear, so it kind of gives the illusion of there being landing gear, but not this little block there. But I'll get into the transformation in a second. But also it has a little cockpit hatch. Again, the pilot figure was like molded in black, I'm pretty sure. Sorry, gray. I colored it yellow and all that. And it has a little, trying to show this without, but it's kind of hard to do. The cockpit hatch there folds down. This again was clear. I painted it blue. Fortunately, coloring it blue just like this one, you'd be able to see the figure through it, but I wanted accuracy. I could care less about little details like seeing the figure. So I mean, you see them when you open it. Also, another cool detail here is, I think this is a good view. These side pieces here, you definitely need tweezers for this, by the way, but you can open these up. If I can get it to work. There we go. And as you can see, there's like a little hatch for the missiles there. So these are all molded in white. I like use a little lining to paint the little section there black so you can see the missiles. Can't really make it out. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. I hate it for doing this right now. But again, basically, what you do to transform it. Oh, actually, first and foremost, always forget about this part. Supposed to, like, this is a little tab here. You're supposed to spin this. And I'll show you why you're supposed to do that in a bit. But you do that. Then you push up the nose there. And then I want to show this off again. This part here kind of collapses and folds in. Now here's another thing, what I was mentioning about bad construction. And this is the same with the Gundam 2.0. This piece here is this little tiny peg. Again, fits on kind of like by friction. Just even getting this in here, you kind of have to kind of slide this in. But this piece broke off. So as a result, when I transform this thing, I have to completely take that wing off. It's not a big deal, but again, it's still really frustrating that it broke on me in general. And also, again, little detail here. So as you're seeing here, I flipped that little tab, and now the pilot figure is upwards, kind of like how it would be when this thing's actually being piloted or whatever. Fortunately, you can't really see him because the way this thing is constructed. I don't think you can get this in anymore, but I mean, it's a cool detail they did it. A little pointless, but again, still cool. And again, I guess you could kind of swing you could swing it out a little bit, but again, you're supposed to have this pushed in, so again, it's a little unrealistic and all that, but it's still cool they do it. So of course, one thing I want to mention is this thing is in here really tight, but you could technically store this thing with the cockpit out. I'm sorry, the core block out. And as you can see, it fits in just fine. But if you wanted to, again, you could put it inside. But one thing I did want to mention is, I've never tried this before, but the older version of these kits, like the Guncannon and the Gundam, they have core blocks that usually came with them in addition to the core fighters you'd be able to transform. So I actually have the gem here, and he comes with a core block. So I'm curious as to whether this will fit in a Guntank. I'm not sure if I ever tried this. So I figured these things technically should be able to, because they're kind of all based on the same thing. And yeah, as I thought it does. So that's very interesting that the gems core block can fit in here, locks in and everything. Because they could have, because I'm pretty sure the gem came out before the gun tanks. If they wanted to, they could have just threw this in here with the gun tank, so you could have a core block in there, which would be accurate, by the way, because after Ryu Kamikaze Hammond in the show, they put in a core block for the gun tank and upgraded or whatever, so it could be piloted by one person instead of a two-man crew. So it would have been accurate for them to have given it a core fighter. And actually, oh darn, I forgot. Let me take it out one more time. Because one thing I forgot to do, oh, it's a piece of head. One thing I forgot to do when I reviewed this guy here, and I should have actually gotten this guy's name before I did this review, but one of my viewers actually mentioned the Guncannon and asked about the core fighter and all that. And it like struck me like, oh gosh, I forgot to review the core fighter for this thing. So I'm going to do a proper size comparison a little bit. So I'm going to lay him down for a second. So the Guntank's going to take a back seat here for his brother. So what you can do with the Guncannon here, and this thing's really in here. Okay. Wow. Did I do something wrong here? Why is this thing in here so hard? All right. Okay, I guess it's time for the tweezers to come back out. I literally just was playing around with this thing before this review. I want to mention it was not in here this bad. I don't know what I did. This thing is not going to come out now. I swear, I don't know what it is. I am cursed. There's always something goofy that happens during my reviews that just like jams it up for one reason or another. I wonder if it was me freaking fiddling around with the hatch that messed it up. Because I literally remember taking this thing out to see. There we go. Ugh. So I got it out. All right, perfect. So, okay, there. We have the core block here, or core fighter here, transformed to a core block. But also, again, like I said before, these things used to come with a core fighter core block. So this thing was all gray. I painted it red and blue and whatnot. I didn't color everything because I feel like it fit having a little bit of that extra. So of course, if you guys could see that, there is a pilot figure in there. He's painted yellow. He was painted gray. So of course, you can just close that up and voila, you have a functioning gun tank with a core block now. And then, of course, much like the 2.0 here, of course, the core fighter can transform. And again, I just want to mention, it doesn't look as detailed as this one's, and it's a little big and blocky looking. So as you can see, this one I did not color. The pilot figure is still gray in there. I'm not sure why I didn't color that, but it is clear. And can this open? I don't think the cockpit can open on this one. I don't know why, it looks like it's really in there. I don't want to break anything, but I'm going to transform this thing one more time just so you guys can see them together. Because again, this core fighter looks more accurate to the show, and it looks great. It's just, again, the construction was a little off. So as you can see, ooh, oh man, something broke when this thing fell. I'd have been upset. But as you can see, let me put on the wings to this thing just for the hell of it. There we go. The overall, like the detailing, like I like how much slimmer the 2.0 looks. It's smaller. Again, it looks more accurate color-wise and all that. Also want to mention I had to color the vents here, and it didn't even come out good at all. Unless just, I mean, I guess it looks kind of worse on camera, but anywho. But yeah, overall the 2.0s looks better, but again, it's still cool that these were even included. So, one last thing I want to mention for accessories, technically only accessory it has besides the core fighter, if you want to count that. I'm pretty sure this pilot figure actually came at the Gym 2.0, but I'm going to show it off anyway. I know for a fact, though, it came with this figure, of course, of Hayato, one of the pilots. Ryu, again, one of the pilots. And then you have Bright and Mirai here. As you can see with all of these, I pinned them with what I had on hand, make them as accurate as possible. Technically, I should have had a figure of John Job because he was supposed to have piloted but didn't because, of course, Ryu ended up sneaking on board. But he was kind of a minor character and he got like 0 screen time in the movie, so I get why they wouldn't bother. But like I said, I'm gonna do a little size comparison here with the Guncannon. As you can see, he towers above the Guntank here. Same with the Gym 2.0. And it wouldn't be complete if we didn't have the Gundam here. They're completed duo. So, of course, this is the part where I give the verdict, and I'm sure you guys can tell already. And this is always the case with some of my reviews. It's like I want to go easy on it and not say, you know, I don't recommend something, etc. But honestly, not only is this thing super hard to find, by the way, I'm not sure when's the last time they ever produced this thing, but I really couldn't recommend it to anyone unless they're, one, a Guntank fan, and two, a fan of 1 to 100 scales. Because although the high grade isn't anything special itself, you can get it for a lot cheaper because this thing, again, especially with it being so rare, you'll have to pay an arm and a leg for this thing. And it's going to have shoddy quality at best because, like I said, those threads, there's no way I'm the only one who has these issues with these threads. And it's like not much you can really do with it. It's a brick, you know. There's so many poses you can do with the Guntank. I mean, you don't get it for the pose. You get it really just for the sake of having it, you know, nostalgia and all that. But again, I'm a huge fan of Guntank. I really love a lot of the underdog kits and suits from the show and stuff. So I had to get it, and I can't say I was very satisfied or happy with it. I mean, it's nice having it around just for the sake of posing it with these two guys here, but just the caliper threads alone, that is a big, you know, turn off for me in this thing. And I actually had this thing in my shoebox for a long time until I finally kind of just took it out for the heck of it, as I see it was in decent shape. And then I remember those threads. I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of why it's not there. So again, this definitely isn't a must-have or anything. It's literally one of those another niche kit that you'd buy if you're a fan of it and nothing more. And again, even then, I barely even want to recommend it to anyone who's a fan of Guntank. But I feel like I'm kind of going in circles and I rambled enough, and this video went on way longer than I intended it to, partially because of unforeseen errors that always seem to pop up in my review. So, of course, if you like what you've seen here, even though I kind of really recommend this kit, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys for the next review. And honestly, I might end up trying to review this guy next. I meant to review this thing months ago, but when I did the review, I didn't like the way it turned out, and it went over 15 minutes, which originally was my goal for a lot of my videos, especially as I didn't know the videos couldn't exceed, I didn't know videos could exceed 15 minutes now without you being partnered. So I wanted to kind of do it again, but shorter. But regardless, I'm gonna review him next. And I mean, geesh, again, I'm kind of going on circles here, so there's not much else to say. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in for the next review.